The mainstream media, the corporate news is angry, mad, and frustrated. They're so sad because YouTube has been taking over. They say that it's a fractured media landscape. We say the independents across America, the heartland, has won. Main Street pushing back against the Wall Street news conglomerates. Today we'll tell you why they're now declaring the niche media just might be the enemy. But folks, we're definitely the frenemy of reality. And we're happy to be here on the greatest place, which is YouTube. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. We are so happy to dive into a very deep and perhaps spicy topic. But we know that we are the kind of channel that you trust to deal with the capsaicin of, well, the entertainment industry. For those of you who don't know, that's a pepper reference. We're chili heads here. Hope you are too. Ghost peppers are definitely the peppers of the season. Folks, it's the season of blame. That's what's happening right now. And we're going to help you understand the train of thought that so many have inside the news media, the access media, and all of those who are perhaps just a little jealous of what's happening all across YouTube and what was formerly known as Twitter. We'll explain right now. Out of the wrap again. It says how niche media players like Megyn Kelly won the YouTube election 2024 vote. You know what's strange about this is they are already acting like it's in the can. The other interesting thing about it is that Megyn Kelly, I would not describe her as niche, but that's the way they're trying to flavor this. Megyn Kelly, of course, was the biggest personality on Fox News for a time. She was then a huge ratings draw over on, I believe, NBC, but NBC didn't like that. And so over time, she was phased out, and then they left her, I think, they believed out to dry. It's just too bad that she is driving viewership at YouTube to massive, massive levels. What are we talking about? Well, I think last time I looked, Megyn Kelly is getting something like 100 million views per month. Niche? No, I say nay. It says Kelly and YouTuber David Pakman are helping rewrite the rules for political shows at a time of high distrust for mainstream media. Now, I just want to read the first two paragraphs as this, and then we'll keep going. It says, as trust in legacy media continues to erode, more people, whether they're voting for Harris or Trump, are turning to YouTube for their 2024 election news. Steve Krakauer, the executive producer of conservative Sirius XM's The Megyn Kelly Show, and David Pakman, who hosts his own progressive political show on YouTube, have seen it firsthand. Their shows, which each have more than 2.6 million YouTube subscribers, approach the election from different point of views. And it goes on to talk about how YouTube is essentially the source where people are going to for their news. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been my thesis now for a while, that the dinosaur legacy news media was going extinct and it was going to the democratized version of news getting out there through sources such as what you're listening to right now. The Pro Channel, for example, millions and millions of views per month, and that's a voice that would never be allowed, not because I'm untruthful, but because I am taking a distinctly nonpartisan position and putting out the truth as best as I can approximate it, and that is not what the interests of corporations happen to be. Now, there is an effort to fix this, and I want to show it to you. We were talking about this early. John was alluding to it. Here's what it says. This is out of Dexerto. YouTube is reportedly testing a homepage layout without view counts and upload dates. Let's see what this looks like. So here's an image. Now, I don't know, gentlemen, and I want to be very careful. I want to clarify this for YouTube, the platform in which we exist. I do not know if this screenshot from Dexerto is a news organization, but I have no way of verifying where they received this, who made this, if it is legitimate, if it is not. I have no idea if this is a concept piece or somebody photoshopping from their basement in Minnesota. I have no idea. But you can see what they're proposing. Dexerto, not us, is proposing. And that is that your feed could look like this. The title, the author, and then a check mark. And that check mark's interesting. What does the check mark mean? We'll come back to that in a minute. You could get a title, an author, and then a check mark. No date and no viewership numbers. Now, why do the viewership numbers matter? Well, the viewership numbers matter because this has become a point of contention for the corporations. Guys, girls, how do you think it makes them feel if they have a team of 30 to 50 people working on a show? They have studio space in Manhattan where it is at a premium price. They have paid for Ivy League individuals to run every part of the show. They have paid millions of dollars for their personalities, and they're being outperformed by individuals in flyover country. How do you think that makes them feel? It does not make them happy. And it leads to the understanding that they're no longer the de facto authoritative voices on matters of import. Now, I think, John, were you hopping in on this one?
That was me.
Harmon, please.
No, I was gonna say it would make them. It shines a spotlight on the fact that the old way of doing things is dying. Now you don't have to perform all of the degrading acts needed to break into Hollywood anymore to be a part of information, to have a platform, to be seen by people. All you need is an internet connection and a camera and a microphone, and you have the ability now to be in front of people. People have more choices in what media they consume now than ever before. And Hollywood, if you want to call Hollywood an entity, has had a monopoly on whatever messaging and content you can possibly see for forever. And now that is being challenged by everyday Joes and Janes who exist outside that elitist atmosphere. And that is a huge threat. And they are trying to level the playing field.
Absolutely. John, your thoughts on what the implications would be of hiding this? We have already removed and revoked the ability to see the dislikes. We've managed to get around that, by the way. There are extensions that allow us to see, for example, the Snow White Zegler stuff. But the average person, 95% of people out there, they don't know about that extension. They don't download that extension. And they've largely stopped clicking the dislike button for most items because they can't see what happens. So why do you click something that does nothing? Now, we get around that, and there are enough people that still do it. But John, what will the implications of this be in your estimation if they remove dates of release as well as viewership numbers?
So dates of release, I think is interesting because obviously if you're doing some news stuff, like you might be watching something that you think might be breaking news and it was like five or 10 years ago. So you're not aware exactly maybe what you're actually watching or if it's relevant in that time frame. So I think that is problematic there. As far as the views, there could actually be some positives on that one because there's lots of kind of data that shows that human beings, people, they will congregate to things that are already doing well, and so they'll watch those things. So you could see that actually help out a lot of smaller creators that maybe don't have the bigger audiences as like some people have already built up. So that could be beneficial to them and help kind of with that. I don't know what the word is for the how that phenomenon acts. I'm blanking on how you describe like what it's called, but so that is something that is a possibility. As far as hiding the views, though, obviously you kind of pointed to the fact that it does hide some of the failures that some of these major corporations might be having. We know that this is something that we've been seeing, I think, across all industries where they do indeed try and hide a lot of this data that does expose their failures. You can look at the comic book industry. They no longer report comic book sales even to the retailers, let alone having retailers report their sales in any kind of easily accessible way. We saw that Netflix hit a lot of their stuff. So that is something that to factor in too. So there's probably some pros and cons to a lot of this stuff. And there's probably a lot of stuff that I can't even think of off the top of my head right now.
This tweet that you pulled up here, Pro, is talking about the dates. And I think that's an interesting point because, like, if you have a video that's like, latest Star Wars news, and you don't know if it was posted today or if it was posted 3 weeks ago, you don't know how accurate the information that you're getting is or how up to date it is. Removing the dates is a very confusing. That's a head scratcher. Removing the view count, I understand why they're doing it. I don't agree with why they're doing it, but I understand it. Removing the dates is something that confuses me.
I think that second comment there, that response there, Ray Tsukino there, is talking about weather. I mean, can you imagine someone who wasn't maybe paying attention to what was going on with Hurricane Helene, and then all of a sudden they're getting breaking Hurricane Helene coming to hit your area or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you're just like, what? And so like you have to let them go and like figure out more stuff. And it's just, well, that was a month ago, right? So it's not actually relevant
too, John,
anymore.
You know, with YouTube, one of the great things about it is that we can put our finger on the pulse of what is popular, and either in a good way or bad way, right? So we can go look at the Snow White trailer, for example, and see how many people have viewed that. That's not something you can do on Netflix or Disney Plus. And those are, by the way, the competition to YouTube, whether or not people want to acknowledge it. So the idea that you can do that on YouTube is advantageous, not only to the consumer, but to analysts. This would also make it if Disney or whoever comes out and says, we've broken 30 million views in a week or whatever. Like we can't verify, we cannot disprove if those view numbers go away. And that would be a real detriment. The fascinating thing there too, though, is that would YouTube take the position of disseminating that information for a price? Would they become the Nielsen of their own property? I don't know, but it's a way that they could make some money. It's worth following. Folks, we're going to continue to follow it, but know that there is major pressure on YouTube right now. The blame game has already begun, even though nobody has won the election yet. They are still claiming that there are problems, right? They're already saying that it's the quote-unquote niche media. Well, folks, apparently you're listening right now to the quote-unquote niche media. That just means it's not corporation approved. John?
Yeah, I just like that point that you made about the advertising, because I can see it going both ways, right? So it could actually help out with YouTube maybe being less biased than what maybe a lot of people believe them to be now. And because then you can be like, well, you can't really see a lot of this stuff. So then you don't really know where those advertisings are going, so they can put advertising on other things. And obviously you're going to have people like Media Matters and things like that trying to screenshot stuff to get people taken down and all the cancel campaigns that we've seen them run in the past. But I do think that could be a possibility of them maybe moving away from maybe this kind of perceived bias that a lot of people see them having, and allows them to maybe hide some of that stuff. But then at the other end of the spectrum, right, it allows them to kind of be like, well, we're only putting the ads on the ones we want to put them on, right?
Yeah. Now, as far as the view counts go, would they only be hidden on the like search pages? Like if you click on a video, can you still see when it was posted and how many views that it has? Because that is my big question on this.
I think all of that's still in flux. Well, folks, we've come to the end of another video of pure excellence and fun, explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. That's what we hope you believe we've just done. And why should you believe it? Well, because we've done our very best to make it so, to be true, to be factual, and to do what the mainstream so-called access journalists simply won't. Folks, you can help share this out across the fruited plains of YouTube by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say sayonara for now, we ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep having fun.